Welcome back to my channel. In this video, some of my group members will be interviewing their parents about the Black Panther Party and see who actually knows who the Black Panther Party is and what they know about them.
Hello everyone, this is my mom, Patricia Peterson, and I'm going to ask her some questions about the Black Panther Party. Have you ever heard about the Black Panther Party, and do you know anything about them?
Yes, I've heard about the Black Panther Party. I've heard a lot about them. I've seen them in the Museum of African History, where they talk about what the Black Panther Party did for blacks. What I know about them, I know that they were a historic group that fought for rights of blacks during the 60s. As opposed to the nonviolent groups, I understand that they fought back when they were oppressed, and that they believed in fighting for their rights, but in a very overt manner.
Okay. Do you believe that violent protests or non-violent protests are more efficient?
Wow, that's a good question. I believe that nonviolent protests are more efficient. The methods of Dr. Martin Luther King, which was a nonviolent protest, allow for a variety of people to join the movement and to see blacks in a way that they understood that they could be a contributor to the society as well, instead of a threat. I do think the violence that we suffered on the hands of whites who were trying to oppress us, though, at times when you are beat down, I can see where that anger could come from, but I do think the nonviolent protests would be more successful.
Thank you, Mom, for answering my questions. Bye.
You have a great day. So there's one other thing that I was just thinking about. I wonder sometimes, even though the violent acts of the Black Panthers in and of themselves may not have been sufficient, I wonder if the mix between the violent and the nonviolent made us appreciate the nonviolent more. So the fact that there was a group that would fight back, that would come against, people could see what the negative side of society they were producing, and then that may have pulled them together to work toward the nonviolent end. So maybe it had a purpose, it just may not have been the solution.
Thank you.
Do you know what the Black Panther Party is?
Yes.
How'd you hear about them?
Growing up, I saw movies about the movement and heard my father talk about it.
What was your first thought?
Mixed emotions. Being racially diverse myself and growing up in a racially diverse community, I always question when any movement is geared towards a single ethnicity or race. I understood the importance of it because of the way that the African American community was being treated and poorly represented, and I appreciated that they were mostly about peace.
How did you view their efforts?
The majority of their efforts, I view them as positive. There's always one or two rogue personnel who don't fully understand the meaning behind the movement that they're actually in and want to get things done their way instead of a way that benefits everyone.
The Black Panther Party was known for both their peaceful and violent efforts. What type of protest do you believe are more effective, violent or nonviolent?
I believe that violent protests prove other people's negative views, and so I would go with the nonviolent protests. However, I understand the importance of fighting back when you are being struck. I'm against people just being hit and laying down and taking that and letting other people beat them or spray them with fire hoses or attack dogs. So in that effort, I would fight back, but I would definitely not throw the first punch or instigate anything.
Thank you.
Okay, do you know what the Black Panther Party is?
Yes.
Have you ever heard of them?
Mm-hmm.
What was your first thought on them?
I believe that the Black Panther Party is a good organization, and I felt that they were very beneficial to Black communities.
What type of protests are more effective, violent or nonviolent?
I believe that nonviolent protests are more effective because violent protests is people just worry about the dangers of it and fighting and stuff like that. But when protests are nonviolent, people's voices could be heard. So I think nonviolent protests are better.
Do you know what the Black Panther Party is?
Yes, I do.
How'd you hear about them?
Well, I was born in 1971, and just during that time, it wasn't as much racism as I was growing up, but it was there. Growing up in Cincinnati, we had people who were members of the Black Panther Party.
So what was your first thought about them?
First, I thought there was an extremist group, kind of like the Ku Klux Klan, but the more I learned about them, I realized they were people who was just trying to protect blacks, their freedoms and their rights.
How do you view their efforts?
Kind of with anything, I think some of them mean well. Some of them are not necessarily racist, but willing to speak up for the black community. I think some go more extreme with it and think the races should be divided.
The Black Panther Party was known for giving meals to children, but it was also known for its extremist views. What kind of protests do you think are more effective, violent or nonviolent?
I think both may be necessary sometimes. I think nonviolent most of the time, but I think there's some people out in this country that just react by violence, and they don't see anything but violence. And sometimes you have to fight back instead of being bullied or intimidated. Sometimes you got to fight back.
Thank you.